Hello student, I am Deepak sir from Golden Public School. Today we are going to start the lesson 4, Landscape of the Soul by Natal Trove. My dear student, this story tells about the Chinese view of painting and European view of painting. Let's know some expressions about it. Notice these expressions in the text, infer their meaning from the context. While you read the chapter, you will come to know the meaning of these expressions. Anecdote, delicate realism, figurative painting, illusionistic likeness, and conceptual space. Let's start the story, the chapter. A wonderful old tale means wonderful, surprising, amazing, that make you just surprised. Yeah. It is possible. Yes, it is possible. Wonderful means that is impossible in your views, but that has become possible according to this chapter. A wonderful tale is told about the painter Wu Daozi. Means this story, tale means story, okay, that is told by someone about the painter Wu Daozi. There was a painter Wu Daozi who lived in 8th century. His last painting, whose last painting was there? Wu Daozi. His last painting was a landscape. You know landscape, okay, that shows some scenery and caves and trees and houses and hilly areas. Commissioned. Commission means commanded. The order has been given by Tang Emperor Zhuangzong. Yes, learn the name Tang Emperor Zhuangzong. He ordered to paint a landscape, and that was painted by Wu Daozi to decorate a palace wall. He wanted to decorate his palace wall. That is why he ordered. That is why he engaged a painter. He ordered the painter to paint a scenery landscape to decorate his palace wall. The master had hidden his work behind a screen. Master means Wu Daozi. The painter, he had hidden his work behind his screen. What is being shown on the screen? That was not the reality. The reality was beyond our imagination. So only the emperor would see it. For a long while, the emperor admired the wonderful scene because he recognized the real beauty, the inner beauty, the hidden mysteries of that particular painting. Discovering forests were there, high mountains were there, waterfalls, clouds floating in an immense sky. You can see the huge sky. Men on hilly paths, birds in flight. Everything was there. Look, sir, means Mr. Your Highness, Your Majesty, said the painter. Painter said, look, sir, in this cave at the foot of mountain, means he's explaining, he's describing his painting. In this cave at the foot of mountain dwells a spirit. There is a spirit. The painter clapped his hand. Painter was clapping his hand and entrance to the cave opened. Yes, I told you this is a wonderful tale. Wonderful tale. The painter claps his hand and you just noticing here, you are hearing here, you are reading here, the cave entrance of the cave opened. You cannot believe. This is unimaginable. Okay, get opened. The inside is splendid. Oh, it was beautiful, beautiful, beyond your thinking. It was beautiful, beyond anything words can say. Means words cannot say. It was beyond anything, beyond your thinking. What is happening over there? But the entrance closed behind. Yes, words cannot say. Words cannot convey. Words cannot say the splendidness of that particular painting landscape. Please let me show your majesty the way. Sir, I want to show you the way. Means painter is saying. The painter entered the cave. You know that gate was opened and painter, the scenery, this is the scenery, this is a landscape, and painter entered. Painter entered the cave, but the entrance closed behind him. Means before the astonished emperor, before the surprised, amazed, he was speechless. He was startled. The emperor was speechless. To his surprise, emperor could move or utter a word. He could not say any word. And he was thinking, what happened? Where is the painting? Where is the painter? The painting had vanished, finished, gone. For our amazement, the painting was disappeared from the wall. Not a trace of Wu Daozi brush was left. Means nothing was left over there, and the artist was never seen again in this world. Means Wu Daozi, his painting, landscape, everything gone. We are thinking that this is impossible, but this story tells that it is possible. This is the old tale that is told about Wu Daozi. Such stories played an important part in Chinese classical education. You know, the Chinese classical education, Chinese want to see the inner beauty of their painting. Such stories played an important part in China's classical education. The books of Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of them. They help the master to guide his disciple. They help the teacher to guide his student in the right direction. Beyond the anecdote, if we go beyond these stories, they are deeply revealing of the spirit in which art was considered. They are just deeply connected in that. Contrast this story, we compare, or another famous one about a painter who wouldn't draw the eye of dragon. There was one more painter there that he couldn't draw the eye of dragon. You know why he had painted? You know why? Because he was fearing that it would fly out of the painting. The painter was not drawing the eye of his painting in which he had drawn dragon. He was not making his eye. You know why? Because he was having the fear that he would fly out of the painting, who would fly a dragon. It was such really amazing painting. It was looking the real one, and the painter feared himself. With an old story from my native Flanders that I find most representative Western painting, means they are Western painting were there, and they were just most representative. Some says in 15th century Antwerp. Let's know something about Antwerp. In 15th century, Antwerp, a master blacksmith called Quentin Maxis. Yes, master blacksmith. His name was Quentin Maxis, and this is the story of 15th century. Antwerp was named. Okay, in 15th century Antwerp, master blacksmith called Quentin Maxis, his name, fell in love. He loved with a painter's daughter. Whose daughter? Painter's daughter, who loved master blacksmith called Quentin Maxis. He was falling in love with a painter's daughter. The father would not accept a son-in-law in such a profession. What was his profession? He was master blacksmith. He was a blacksmith. That is why father doesn't want to accept him as his son-in-law. So Quentin sneaked into painter's studio. Means when his would-be father-in-law was working in his studio, Quentin, who loved the daughter of painter, he also sneaked means entered secretly the painter's studio and painted a fly on his latest panel, on which he was just painting. He was about to painting. The painter was about to paint on the panel, okay, and he painted a fly on his latest panel. Who painted? Master blacksmith. Quentin Matsys. He came. He was blacksmith, but he showed his talent in painting also with such delicate realism. It was really, it was looking very beautiful, and it was looking as it is a original one. It was looking that it is a original one. Living description was there. Delicate realism that the master tried to sweat it away. You know, master tried to sweat it away. He wanted to fly it away. Master means yes, painter. The painter, okay, father of daughter. He wanted to fly it away. He wanted to sweat it away before he realized what had happened. Then he come to know, oh, this is not the real one. You can imagine that even a painter could not make a difference between the real one and the art one. So you can imagine that what types of painter was Quentin Matsys, who was working at as a blacksmith at the time. You can imagine what type of painter was there. Father was impressed. Quentin Matsys was immediately admitted as an apprentice into his studio. Father was impressed, and he kept him as his helper, supporting hand, as his assistant in his studio. And not only this, he married his beloved. Means Quentin Matsys also married his beloved. Beloved means painter's daughter, and went on to become one of the most famous painter of his age. You can imagine, this is another story of that person who was blacksmith first, and after that he became a great painter. These two stories illustrate what was story Woodhouse and this one. These two stories illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve. A perfect illusionistic likeness means likeness due to an illusion. So there is illusion means doubts are there. What's happening? There is not a clear picture about it. Likeness in Europe, the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia, you can find over. Okay, my dear student, we will just complete today. We are going to end this video up to this point, and you will just try to read the chapter again and again, and try to do the word meaning of the chapter also. In the next video, we will continue the second part of the story. Thank you, student. Thank you very much.